Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well today. Today I'm going to show you how I create my ridiculously simple wall art. This is probably too simple for most people, but I'm terrible at art. I can't draw a straight line. I can't draw a circle. It looks like an oblong, squiggly mass. I'm not sure what it ends up looking like, but it definitely doesn't look like a circle. So I use objects in my house. I use anything that has texture on it, anything that has a shape to it. If you get a package in the mail and you have styrofoam, cut it out into geometric shapes, dip it into paint and stamp it on a canvas. Anything you have, you can do. The most recent painting I did on this canvas that I'm going to cover on today is this one, and basically it's just wall paint, and on top of that I did stencils, and I did the stencils in different colors, and then I took additional paint like browns and a little bit of orange and black and just emphasized some parts of the stencils, and I didn't love that, but I didn't hate it. So anyway, I left it on my wall for a while. Today we're going to use caviar paint just as a base paint to paint the whole canvas black. This is going to be our starting point. So as you can see, I'm starting to paint here. Yeah, I'm painting over all my art. Anyway, I've done this so many times, so there's a lot of texture on this canvas. And then I just paint the whole thing, and don't use a lot of paint. I use a very light paint. I don't want to saturate totally into the canvas. I want the canvas to dry pretty quickly. I don't care if it's perfect looking or completely, opaque. I don't mind the prior art sticking out under it. This is actually what it looks like when you go really close with it. It looks like you're painting solid on the canvas, but it's actually a modeled look. So this is what it looks like completely painted, and as you can see up close, you can see some of the prior art and texture coming through and what it looks like now. See that? You can see that little stencil look coming through a little bit. I don't mind that because I like that look where it's not so perfect. And plus with what I'm doing, you'll never even know. So if you didn't want this to happen, you want to be more opaque, just let it completely dry with a thin coat, go back and do a second coat, and you should be good to go. This is what it looks like when it's completely dry. Now we're going to start using objects. There's my feet. Now we're going to start using objects to make designs and practice making designs. So this is a decorative ball. I dipped it in the black paint just to see what it would look like on a piece of paper, and I rolled it around. This just has texture to it. I thought this was okay. Like I said, you can use styrofoam. You can use this. This is actually quite pretty. You can make pretty flowers with this. Maybe I'll do that at some point in the future. But I was trying a few things, and then I tried a roll I had, just a little paper roll, and I put that in the paint, and it actually had a weird stripe design to it. Then I put tape on part of it to see what that would look like, and it didn't do much, but it kind of gave a modeled look, but more of like an all-over look. Then I put a bag on my hand. This is a really old method I've used a million times. Dip it in paint. My videographer skills are not that great, so hang in there. There you go. Okay, so then I was like stamping it on, and I actually like this, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for. So I then decided, you can see here, it doesn't look too bad. It actually looks pretty interesting, but it's not something I wanted to do, but maybe in the future. So then I looked, as this was drying, my paint was drying on the canvas, and it was actually pretty dry at this point. I decided I would do something a little bit different. You can see how this looks. It actually looks pretty interesting. And it's weird because when you put a solid coat on there, it often dries uneven. Obviously, I probably put it on there uneven, but it dried pretty well. So now I've decided I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to use frog tape to make lines on it. So basically, keep in mind where you put the tape will still be solid black, and anything in the other sections, the rectangles and all the different shapes, will be whatever you decide to do with those. So you'll still have like a striped geometric look. So I'm also going to I always paint the edges of the tape with the base color. The reason I do that is it keeps whatever you're going to do in those big rectangles and squares and trapezoids or whatever, it keeps it from bleeding through. And since honestly, I don't really think I would have had to do it this time because of the method I end up using, but if you're going to paint those triangles and those shapes a different color than the black lines, this would do a lot for keeping the paint from going under the tape and bleeding through, because canvas is porous, so I've definitely had bleed through when I don't do this. So I do this most times. Here it is when I've just painted all the edges to make sure they're pretty good sealed, and hopefully whatever I do in those big sections just not going to leak through. Once that's dry, then I'm going to take my Sherwin-Williams Bright White Flat Ceiling Paint, believe it or not. I use what I have because I have paint I need to use up. And then I take a piece of paper. I'm going to continually crush it up, open it up, crush it up, open it up. And then I'm going to use two paper plates. One has paint in it, and that's a lot of paint. Then you just go to dip that into the second paper plate to take a lot of it off. And then you just start stamping to get like, I don't even know what you call that, a mottled effect. So you just start stamping. And keep in mind, if you press harder, you're going to have more, a darker white. And if you press lighter, it's going to be very faint. I'm doing a little bit of variation. So some places are darker, some places are lighter, so it doesn't look like it's perfect. And you don't want to paint, to tap it in a line. You want to sort of jump around a little bit so it doesn't look like it's all the same pressure in the same area. So this is what it looks like when it's all finished. And then you do not wait for it to dry before you remove the paint. You want to gently remove the paint or remove the tape without disturbing the paint. And as you can see, if you do it gently, it doesn't really bother the painting. So here it is. You could do blacks and whites and greens and purple. You could use tons of colors on here. I actually take this to put this tape on here one time and painted all of these different shapes, different colors. It looked really cool. Here it is on the wall. I know that wall's really lonely, but I'm debating on what to do on that wall other than this piece of canvas. Make sure it's level. And here it is what it looks like from far away. It's so simple. Yes, it's not a Picasso, but we're not trying to be Picasso, are we? We're just trying to put something on the wall. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my videos, and I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.